These three wines look different from one another, but they're more alike than they seem. They're all Brunello di Montalcino, supposedly one of Italy's finest red wines. Whether or not that's true is up to you, but this is one of those wines you definitely must try, at least once in your life. Today we're going to explore why Brunello di Montalcino is so special. The grapes used, the Montalcino wine region, and the fastidious winemaking. But the most important reason why Brunello di Montalcino is so special is because it's one of the few wines out there that gets better with age. So much better. It's going to inspire you to start your own wine cellar. Lucky for us, I happen to have a vertical of Brunello di Montalcino dating back 25 years, so we can see firsthand how this wine evolves over time. It's important to note, Brunello di Montalcino is not cheap, but there is actually a secret to finding great value in Montalcino, so stay tuned. Hey, it's Madeline Paquette from Wine Folly. This video wouldn't be possible without the generous support of San Polo in Brunello di Montalcino. As a sponsor, they've sourced some rare library wines for us to try, and that's so awesome. Since I'm not a critic, I'm not here to review or rate these wines. Instead, we'll talk about what's going on technically so that we can understand Montalcino wines as a whole. Let's do this. This is Italy. In southern Tuscany, we find Montalcino. The hillside village dates back to pre-Roman times and served as a stronghold to the Republic of Siena until it was conquered by Florence in 1555. Surrounding the mountaintop village sit the vineyards of Montalcino. The region is about 100 square miles, but there are only about 9,000 vineyard acres here. It makes Montalcino's production about 5 times smaller than Napa Valley. Brunello di Montalcino is one wine made here, and it's made with a special clone of Sangiovese called Sangiovese Grosso, or simply Brunello. The Brunello clone is known to produce more concentrated grapes, which in turn make more concentrated wines. Then, after the fermentation, wines are aged for a minimum of 2 years in barrels and for a total of 5 years before they're released. So this wine we have right here is already 6 years old, but that's a current vintage from San Polo. Let's find out what a current vintage of Brunello di Montalcino is like. And the first thing we'll do is to take a look at the color. My, this is a medium ruby garnet color. The garnet tinged rim tells us a couple of things. 1, the wine has some age, and 2, the fact that Sangiovese Grosso has naturally low pH. A low pH in wine tints the hue of red wine to a more reddish hue. Let's give it a sniff. Whoa, I get cherries, dried cranberry, wild strawberry, blackberry, a little violet, potpourri, and a touch of licorice. That's complex. Tannin face. This wine exudes earthy notes of espresso and cassis, along with pretty intense tannin. The high astringency in this wine helps give it a runway for longer term aging. So what happens if we wait an additional 8 years? Let's find out. Taking a look at the color, this has even more garnet in the hue and a little bit more fading. That fading and change of color comes from slow oxidation. That also changes some things in the flavors and aromas in this wine. On the nose, I get dried fig, candied cherry, a little licorice hazelnut, and this sun-baked leather note. Wow, the oxidation caused polymerization of the tannins, making it taste more velvety and smooth across my palate. Because there's less astringency, this wine even has a hint of a sweeter taste. Now for something really special. This Brunello di Montalcino has aged for 25 years. You can see how the labels have changed over the years. But this is the same wine. Hey, what's your favorite label? Let me know. Taking a look at the color. Whoa, this must be where the name Brunello comes from. It's much more of a pale tawny color. On the nose, I get dried candied brown sugar, dried porcini mushroom, that old leather, a touch of licorice and creme de menthe. Notice there's less fruit. The flavors are now mostly from aging, and these are called tertiary aromas. The process of long-term aging has completely changed this wine. Wow. For most wines, 25 to 30 years means we're at our most mature moment. What surprises me about this wine is how delicious it is to drink. It's fruity, even though the aromas aren't as fruity. Impressive. Now that we've seen the potential of Montalcino's wines, let's dig into how to find what you like. The first thing to know is that Montalcino has a dynamic landscape with different elevations and soil types. This means we can expect to find a range in the styles of wine here. So here's what you need to know. Wines coming from more clay-heavy soils tend to produce riper styles with more black fruit flavors. Our wine today came from clay limestone soils. Contrasting that though, wines from more rocky soils tend to be more aromatic with red fruit aromas and elegant tannins. Here's another clue, and this might sound crazy, but you can look at the vineyard elevation. Lower elevations tend to have softer acidity and riper fruit flavors, and as you move up in elevation, we get more structured tannin and elegant fruit flavors. This is typically better for long-term aging. For comparison's sake, our wines today came from 1,475 feet up, and that's pretty high for Montalcino. Finally, there's Brunello's classifications. And this is where we can find the secret to finding great value. Brunello di Montalcino has two aging classifications, Brunello di Montalcino and Brunello di Montalcino Reserva. Technically, Reserva has longer aging requirements, and many producers label wines Reserva that come from their best vineyards and vintages. And then there's the secret, Rosso di Montalcino. This wine doesn't have the same rigorous aging requirements as Brunello, but it does use the same grape and it comes from the same place. Rosso, in my opinion, is a great way to taste Montalcino on a budget because it costs a lot less. And you can find a great one if you look up the vintages. So there you have it. We've just done a deep dive into Brunello. And we've also learned a little bit about how red wines age along the way. I hope this helps you feel more confident to find a delicious wine from Montalcino on your own. Now, it's my question to you. Do you think Brunello is the top wine of Italy? And what wine region should we cover next? I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas, so be sure to leave a comment below. Thanks so much for joining in, and if you enjoyed this video, we'll be doing more videos like it, so be sure to subscribe if you'd like to learn more about wine. Until next time, happy tasting, peace out.